Aquarius. That song gets stuck in my head every damn time I see Aquarius. Welcome into your reading, okay? Just a general reading again. If you're brand new to the channel, I'm JT. If you're just cross-watching for your particular sign, make sure you come in and check out some of the videos, okay? Some of the energy may line up, it may not. Excuse me, Aquarius, I've been dealing with, the changing of the seasons. It's the dawn. See, I can't stop it. It just keeps going and going. Okay, Aquarius, check it out. Sometimes in our life, these cards, they line up, okay? Sometimes they don't. I'm going to try to give you the best explanations of the cards that I can. Sometimes it can get a little long-winded. So if you're impatient, this probably is not the channel for you. But if you are the returning subscriber, I'm doing it for you. I love you very much, okay? We're just going to kind of do an energy update, see what's going on in your energy, okay? As you know, I always put the brand new haiku poems right before your reading. I like the transition into the reading, okay? It's really cool. All right, I'll give you the down low. We'll shuffle up and talk about your categories. Aquarius, I hope for you, the universe bringing you abundance, peace, health, wealth, stability. I've already transferred my energy into these cards, so I know it's going to be a beautiful reading for you. All right, let's talk about these categories. We have your current energy. I'll go over each and every one of them with you. Your crossing challenge. We have the foundation, the recent past, the possibilities. We have the near future. Okay. We have the self. We have the foundation. We have the hopes, fears, wishes, or worries, and the outcome and the direction. Okay, Aquarius, like I said, give me just a minute to look at these cards, and while I'm doing that, I got your brand new poems ready. Okay, Aquarius, as I promised, we are back into your reading. Hopefully you enjoyed those poems, by the way. Let me know in the comments which one resonated with you, all right? I'd be curious to know. All right, let's start off. Your reading has the Eight of Wands. This is going to be interesting. Some serious communication is coming your way, okay? And what I feel like is we're talking about an authentic truth about to break free. This, like I said, sometimes these energies line up, sometimes they don't. But I feel like this is the year you're going to stop running from your own heart, okay? I may even actually put that in the damn title. And the reason I say is because this first energy, the Eight of Wands, this is your life speeding up. You know, texts coming in faster, opportunities kind of like stacking on top of you. People suddenly like, they're noticing you again. All right. For some of you, I don't know, maybe like the quiet message that comes to you from out of nowhere. I don't know. And maybe it feels like it's just pushing you. I don't know. Maybe it feels like the universe is just pushing you along. Anyway, we're talking about momentum here, where things were once maybe stagnant. Okay. We could be talking about, as far as synchronicities are concerned. Now, make sure you kind of pay attention to these. It would be really ass kicking if somebody would put back into the comments if some of these happen. But I'm talking about times where you're just like, not paying attention, you're on your computer and all of a sudden, you start getting this glitching ass screen. I'm not talking about, if somebody's got poor, service or something like that. I'm talking about these glitches, things like timestamps, matching angel numbers or something like that. Okay. That would be really interesting to see here. But we're talking about maybe like a masculine energy who sends that late night text, that's saying, hey, you mind if we talk? That kind of thing. After maybe, some days or maybe even weeks for some of you, after being silent. As far as the feminine energy, I don't know. A feminine energy finally replies to your messages with a long paragraph explaining something, okay, or everything. Trying to finish my cigarette here. I apologize. I don't know. This could look like maybe like I don't know, even a sudden job or something like that. Some kind of a client referral or I don't know, maybe just like I said, way more texting, way more flirting, more plans, something like that. Someone who may have ghosted you is trying to re-enter, like in the urgency kind of phase here. This could look like for some of you like a creative project that suddenly like, is going to, I don't know, gain some traction here, right? It could be like a friend that's going to confess something that they've been holding back, a message that, I don't know, just kind of changes your emotional direction on something here, okay? So when your screen glitches or, you get those repeat ads or something like that, I think it might be like the universe saying, hey, pay attention, this moment matters, okay? So just kind of keep that in mind here. All right, like I said, for some of you it applies, some of you it doesn't, but it really would really be cool if somebody put that in there. Yeah, dude, that anyway. All right, soft landing here, the Queen of Cups. All right, love, check it out. This category is about deja vu. It's sudden chills, heart flutters, ringing in the ears. For some of you, this may be the case. Okay, this is about timing. It's an emotional conversation. I feel like your challenge is emotional vulnerability. Okay, you're wanting a connection, but I don't know if you may have the feeling like you don't want to drown in someone else's emotional waves here, right? So you're kind of like learning how to feel without losing yourself. It's definitely intuition here. But it also speaks, because it is the cups. Okay, she is the only cup in the cups here that has the adorned cup. Not only has a lid on it, right? It's the only one. So we're talking about emotional needs here. Maybe they're feeling a little bit heavier than expected. Okay, and it kind of just reflects on maybe afraid of repeating old heartbreak patterns or something like that. Um, overwhelmed by someone's, the mixed signals or something for some of you. Maybe you are attracted to somebody who may not be emotionally, available or something. All right, scared of being too much, not enough. It's kind of the generic form for that, but I feel like it's I don't know. You might be avoiding, answering a text or something right away. Okay, this is sensing someone's feelings like before they say it, so it kind of puts you in your headspace, right? Like I don't know. You're not trying to be strategic or planning or anything vindictive, but I just feel like it's like, I don't know, maybe you get emotional chills, when you think about this person. So, a modern explanation of how you feel may not work, right? So it's kind of like you just kind of think it out, think it through. But it's definitely sudden emotional sensations, and your intuition's trying to get your attention in that situation, all right? All right, we are moving on now into the foundation. We have the Five of Cups. Look here. This might poke an old bruise, okay? So I'm going to go slow with you here. But um, this is, I don't know, this is shaped by like past disappointment, I'm sure. The one that still stings when you think about it, you're not broken. You're cautious with this card. You still think about the one who maybe who didn't choose you, okay? Like I said, a little soft landing there, but I don't know, maybe you regret, not saying something sooner to somebody. This could look like, afraid of wasting time again. This could look like replaying old conversations in your head. I don't know. For some of you, it could look like maybe, flipping the channel. Don't want to hear that song. Okay. If anybody flips channels anymore, I don't know. They probably, well, on your playlist, you just kind of pass that song, right? but it's definitely the fear of repeating, like cycles of abandonment, or, the trust, neglect, that type of energy. But I think you're realizing maybe you stayed a little too long in a one-sided type connection. Okay. You're finally just kind of acknowledging, it hurt. Right. And, you're ready to move past this. For some of you, we could be talking about synchronicities like rings, candles, mirrors, something like that, receipts, anything that's kind of got that, I don't know, in the category of circling back to you, something that keeps coming back. Okay. Um, for some of you, we were talking about like synchronicities of maybe like owls. You may have a spirit animal that's like the owl. Okay. Just take what fits here, but we're going to look now at the recent past. And we got the strength card. Could be talking about Leo energy here. We don't have to be, but we could be. Leo could be in your timeline. Excuse me. This is like, I don't know, maybe here recently you showed like some restraint or some patience, some real emotional maturity, but you held back, when you could have reacted. Okay. And so that really shows that, you're choosing like your dignity, over chaos and dumb shit. Right. Um, you didn't text back, even though you wanted to, walked away from some drama. Um, those are all the significant signs, that of the growth that you have really moved into here. Walked away from drama. You handled some kind of a confrontation with, um, with the strength, grace, right? You resisted the urge to, maybe get on somebody else's social media and start a little shit, which is hard to do. So as far as synchronicities, we talking about, definitely like lions. For some, you could have like a tattoo of a lion or like the wolf or the fox, something that's kind of, showing I don't know, showing that patient, kind of the loner type of an energy here. But it definitely, it means, working on yourself here in that situation. So, all right. So we're going to move on now. We're going to look at the possibilities. Okay. Here's another soft landing, but I got you. We're going to unpack it, right, without panic. Um, this is like it's like your mind is your biggest enemy here. Okay. And it's because the possibilities are so huge, right? And excuse me, but so are you, right? The fears, you're imagining worst case scenarios, that don't happen. Losing sleep, overthinking, the text, over assumptions. Someone might be losing interest, when they're maybe just busy. That type of energy, right? Um, it could be even some of that old past wounding, fear of abandonment. But even though the person may be showing up, so it's that replaying, old conversations that maybe you had at night. Worrying about maybe being misunderstood, scared of choosing wrong. That type of energy here. But for some of you, it could look like maybe you feel like you've been burned, and so emotional intimacy might be a really tough challenge for you. Okay. You don't want to repeat old patterns. So I don't know. Synchronicities might look like, locked doors, open windows, trains, or something like that, dream symbols, something like that, but it's about possibilities here. Um, the locked doors and dreams, they reflect like fears, maybe that you haven't voiced yet. Okay. All right. So we're going to move on now into the near future. And we've got the King of Cups. You know, this is random love songs for your synchronicities for sure, right? In a store, you know, the, um, yeah, songs from your past. As far as timing, I'm thinking like, maybe around like a holiday or a family gathering here. But this is the King of Cups represents that mature, emotionally stable, masculine energy here. Okay, that's going to enter. Could be somebody you already know, that's going to finally step up into your timeline here. Someone who feels very deeply, okay, but they're not showing this stuff recklessly. So pay attention to the way this person interacts, right? Um, Someone may be about to confess some feelings, and you're going to recognize it because there's going to be a calm, a very clear, heartfelt message, right? This is someone admitting to you that maybe they were scared of losing you. Okay. That partner that's, I don't know, just a more emotionally available person here, right? Someone here could have like, deep eyes, right? Like, soft blues, the browns, this is nobody, they're not playing games here, right? This is definitely, when you recognize this, it's that emotionally safe kind of feeling, and maybe for the first time in a long time for some of you, right? And so again, like the synchronicities are like love songs, that might be playing about the same time you're thinking of this person. Okay, music, is like emotional telepathy, right? A message that's kind of delivered through sound. So just pay attention to the synchronicities. All right. Okay, moving on. We've got the self, Aquarius. In the self, we have this Four of Swords energy. Okay. Uh, Definitely pay attention to the moon phases. All right, the next phase shift. Okay, this represents, the card represents tired. Okay, in the moon phase, when we're going into that brand new moon, sometimes Aquarians can feel really like emotionally pulled back. Okay, it's like you're tired, you're healing. You're withdrawing to like get your recharge. Okay, it's like your emotional battery that needs to be recharged here in this situation. So you could find yourself like sleeping a little more than usual, and basically it's to avoid all the drama, right? Or not responding to text so instantly. Okay, this could be someone, just craving the silence. So you could be working on meditation or maybe journaling more, something like that. But it's taking breaks from social media. Not going to chase answers. It's definitely rest before making a huge decision here. And so I kind of feel like what it's leaning toward is that King of Cups energy. Um, you're craving that emotional neutrality, right? So you want peace more than you want passion, and you're just trying to make sure that this energy is lining up with you. If that person's going to match that same energy. So as far as the synchronations, that would work. Okay, as far as those is concerned with the moons, the shadows of the moon phases, it's definitely talking about shifting and reflecting on your inner recalibration. Okay, that's what I was trying to get at with that. So just kind of pay attention. Step out, take a gander at the moon. All right. We're going to look at the environment. We have the Ace of Pentacles. Some of you could be seeing number synchronicities here, like 414, 515, 717. Those are all angel numbers. It's divine offering, right? So we're talking about financial. We're talking about also an opportunity, definite opportunity, be job, a raise. For some of you, like the side hustle, new clients, a new long-term investment or something like that, a job offer that comes in, unexpectedly, that side hustle that's going to definitely pay off and profit. So this is a really good card, and it's opportunity to, to improve on things that you've thought about that you would like to do, right? I don't know, maybe you start saving a lot more effectively. Okay, but definitely feeling a little more grounded financially here. Okay, so as far as like the repeating numbers, that just signals like alignment. Okay, with new material beginnings here, and that's what that Ace of Pentacles represents. All right, moving on now to the hopes, fears, wishes, and worries. Okay, this isn't a warning for you. Okay, it's clarity, and I'm going to guide you right through this card. This is, you want to walk away from from what's drained you, right? But you fear of like losing the familiarity. Okay, it's kind of got that Two of Wands situation. Um, you know, it's I want emotional truth. Okay, and so a lot of considerations are in this card. It's like walking away from a job that no longer fulfills you, but you're around so many people that you enjoy being around. So that's a really tight spot to be in, right? Thinking about some kind of an ending with a relationship, that can that can be tough to do because of the emotional intimacy that was involved, right? But this is definitely, it's got that craving the fresh start, but kind of like fear of being alone. Okay, you want to move, you want to relocate, but you just want to make sure that you're not entering into any more, surface level relationships. So it's got that back and forth kind of energy here, right? Um, and it's totally understandable. It is so much human nature for us to do that. Um, you could keep seeing someone's name everywhere as far as synchronicities are talking about, because the repeating names, this reflects like unresolved emotional ties here. So pay attention to some of those synchronicities that may have, I don't know, like repeating initials, maybe somebody's name that you're associated with, or that you really care about, might be appearing in like TV shows, or you might be just seeing it somewhere on like a billboard ad or something like that. So just kind of look out for the synchronicities. All right. Okay. We got the outcome and the direction, and I'm going to phrase this as gently as I can because it matters. This is all about timing. This is the late night moment of honesty here. The outcome is deep inner clarity. You're not isolating. You're not like trying to refine yourself. You're like choosing solitude over noise here. Okay, and so we saw that already. But this is definitely talking about pulling back to maybe understand your heart space, right? And I do feel like that you recognize this. This is you understand about the chase, and you understand about what truly matters to you. So this hermit phase kind of and it is a phase, and it is just a cycle. So keep that in mind. But this is, I see other people's true intentions now. Reconnecting with your spiritual side, it matters. Because this helps you become way more intuitive. So this is definitely preparing for this new beginning. And so you could be seeing, as far as like spirit animals, any of the solitary type animals, those that, kick back, the owl, bringing inner wisdom, awakening, things like this. So, so what I got here is I feel like, you know, in the energies, I definitely feel like we got this Eight of Wands, right? Um, it's showing momentum, returning, text, opportunities, clarity, And so the Queen of Cups here, I should turn these around so you can actually freaking see them, right? The Queen of Cups is challenging you to open up, without losing yourself completely, And we got the Five of Cups. This is the old wounds. You're ready to release all of this shit, okay? And so the strength, it shows up, and it's emotional maturity, right? And so the Nine of Swords, I'm just going to kind of summarize for you, but the Nine of Swords reminds you, of how you've kind of let fear write maybe some parts of your future here, okay? And then with the King of Cups energy, we're talking about that finally that emotional stability, the mature romantic presence in your life, okay? And so definitely, excuse me, definitely the Four of Swords is all about the rest, right? It's the need for rest before this takes place. That Ace of Pentacles, the financial blessings, the things that you're about to be prepared for. And in that Ace of Pentacles, we're talking about that relationship as well. So it's kind of like getting your energy back. Like I said, recharging that battery. You know what I'm saying? So then we have the Eight of Cups, okay? Revealing your desires. This is definitely for your emotional truth. You are thriving on that right now, okay? And the Hermit, we just discussed, it's all about showing the clarity, the peace, and a return. So, Aquarius, I apologize, my voice is just about gone to the wind. Aquarius, this is a beautiful reading. I hope you got something from it. I hope it was clarity. This is about you seeing all that stuff, emotionally mature, and realizing what values you most, and moving into that place. So I hope it was confirmation for some, clarity for others. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, would you? Let me know in the comments what you think about the poems, or if anything resonated with you in this. Leave your comments, would you? This community needs it. All right. Anyway, I love you. I respect you, Aquarius. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope I get to see you on the next readings. Okay. All right. Bye bye.